Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening and welcome to Tuesday's February 21st Rutland City Board of Aldermen meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion has been seconded. Any comments, questions, or discussion? Seeing and hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we will move on to outside the rail. To start outside the rail tonight, we have Ed Clark from the RRA, who is going to speak on ad hoc housing and the RRA agenda.
Thank you, Mike. I'd like to thank everyone for the opportunity to speak with you this evening from outside the rail. The basis for me coming here was to discuss the ad hoc housing group that has been meeting over the past several months to address the critical need of housing in our community. But I thought it would also be a good opportunity to give you an update on what has been going on with the RRA. First of all, the ad hoc housing group is a consortium of housing partners, including NeighborWorks, the Housing Trust of Rutland County, Hale Resources, the Regional Planning Commission, the Rutland Housing Authority, Mayor Allaire, Andy Paluch, and the RRA. We've been meeting twice a month to develop ideas on how to encourage the development of housing within the city of Rutland. The group recognizes the need to create housing opportunities across the spectrum, from income-sensitive housing to affordable housing for young families seeking to come to or stay in our communities, young families looking to raise children in our community, older folks looking to downsize to a home or apartment they can afford to stay in while enjoying the benefits of living, working, and retiring in Rutland. The group is looking at many options, including ways to encourage development of currently underutilized properties, development of new properties, and potential developments that would support a TIF district within the city of Rutland. The Tax Increment Finance District is another effort that really should be spearheaded by the RRA. But given our current situation, Lyle Jepson and Devin Neary have been diligent point persons. This is an effort that's going to require a lot of resources to utilize should we be successful. The housing component I just discussed could be a contributor to a TIF district, potentially rehabilitating a property not currently supporting our grant list. The RRA also has a BIAP program, the Business Incentive and Assistance Program, that has been enormously popular and successful. This evening, we have Lakia Sanchez here with a request of support for her new Euphoric hair salon, focusing on an unmet need for the BIPOC population in our community. We have Sam Mills, I don't see Paige over there, looking to support their Down Valley Bike Shop, bringing the bike shop to downtown in a great location, close to the bike path, linking downtown to Pine Hill Park. These applicants are young people we are fortunate to have in our community. Lakia, Sam, and Paige, thank you for all you do for Rutland. The RRA continues to put forth efforts to support VCDP grant applications, of which we have several qualified projects. Unfortunately, we can only recommend one implementation and one planning grant per cycle. BarbaraSpaulding has been an incredible resource for these applicants. None of this would happen without her. This includes most of what the RRA is currently doing. We could not do it without you, Barbara. Right now, the RRA is going through a strategic planning process with Melissa Levy from Community Roots, a small community and economic development consulting organization that we hope can lead us to a place where we know the RRA will be prepared to help the city for the foreseeable future. We're hoping to have the support of the Board of Aldermen and the city as we head toward our internal planning to properly staff our organization. Coming back to the Ad Hoc Housing Committee, this is a committed group that consistently thinks about how to best engage others in the community to create housing opportunity for folks at all levels. So much focus has been on income-sensitized housing that folks in the middle have gotten lost and perhaps moved to other areas of the country, as have so many of our kids. This group is about creating the housing opportunities to reverse that trend. We don't have the answers yet, but we know we are a critical juncture in the growth of our community and the support that we need to provide current and new residents. It will take creative thinking to achieve a goal, creating the necessary housing to prepare our community for the future. At a later date, we hope to be able to announce some innovative ideas that will help us toward these goals. The City of Rutland is lucky to have this committed group working on this effort, and the RRA stands ready to do our part with the support of everyone in this room. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Ed.
Mr. President, can I just add one quick thing, if I could? I noticed in the article in the paper about the debate the other night at the aldermanic level that housing rose to the top of the issues that people were talking about. And from my view, in participating with this group, I think that this is a relevant group of people. All the major players are at the table, and going forward, I think that we're going to be able to do very good work and put both short-term and long-term housing needs in focus and in implementation and action steps. So I'm real pleased the way it's gone up to this point.
Good. Okay, we are still in Outside the Rail. Is there anyone else from Outside the Rail that would like to speak on items that are not on the agenda this evening? Seeing and hearing none, we'll move on to communications from the mayor. Mr. Mayor, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much. I'll be brief tonight. I said what I wanted to about the housing. What I would like to do is just remind everyone, and I'm sure you are all aware, that 2 weeks from tonight is election night. And for voting purposes, residents can request an absentee ballot from the clerk's office. They can vote in person down at the clerk's office anytime from 8 to 4, Monday through Friday here at City Hall. And of course, on Tuesday, Election Day, March 7th, the polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I would just like to make sure to encourage everyone to exercise your sacred right to vote. And also for your viewing pleasure, I want to remind everybody that tomorrow night there will be a mayoral debate between the two of us here, and we will have a good discussion for an hour at 6 o'clock live on PEG TV. I encourage everyone to please tune in and listen. I'm looking forward to the discussion, and as well there is a second debate that has been scheduled next Thursday, which is March 1st. That will also be at 6 o'clock at the Paramount Theater. Encourage people to come down and sit in the audience and listen to what we have to say. I'm not sure if that's going to be televised or not. I haven't got the details on that, but would encourage people to come down and get educated before you cast your vote. And that's what I got tonight.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Okay, moving on to additions and deletions from the agenda. We have 3 items. We have the SEP request for Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, Rutland Greater Strides. We have a removal, a GMP pole and wire request, and a removal of the CED report. Can I get a motion to approve?
Move to add to the agenda.
Okay, we motion to approve the changes.
Second.
We have a second. Any comments, question, or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, moving on to reports and letters from department heads and officials. BarbaraSpaulding, RRA, Better Places Resolution. This is pages 1 and 2 in your packet. Barbara, come on up.
Good evening. So it has always been the city's intention to have Come Alive Outside be the face of the crowdsourcing piece for a reimagined Depot Park. The Better Places grant will match the crowdsourcing 2-to-1. But in speaking with the funder, it became apparent that trying to have Come Alive Outside collect the donations and the city being the fiscal agent of the grant would pose a problem. Therefore, the option to give Come Alive Outside site control of the park through this project seemed a simpler solution. And with Kim's blessing, We are requesting that the aldermen sign the resolution provided in your packet, giving Come Alive Outside site control of Depot Park for the purposes of the Better Places grant.
Michael?
To suspend the rules?
Second.
We have a motion to suspend the rules and been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And motion to circulate the resolution provided by Barbara and the RRA for signature?
Second.
We have a motion that's been seconded. Is there any comments, question, or discussion for Barbara? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Barbara, do you want to move on to your next item? I'll give it to you. It's the BIAP request for the Euphoric hair experience. This is pages 3 through 10 in your packet.
So as provided for in your board packet, the RRA recommends approval of a $10,000 BIAP forgivable loan and referral to Heritage Family Credit Union for a secured loan to Lakia Sanchez, so she can open Euphoric Hair Experience, a BIPOC salon at 53 Merchants Row in downtown Rutland. And Lakia is here tonight to tell you about her plans and to answer any questions that the board might have.
Hi, I'm Lakia Batista Sanchez. It's Batista Sanchez. I know that's kind of long to remember. But I took the initiative to start working on opening Euphoric Hair Experience because I was asked to do the BIPOC hair clinics last year with the NAACP, the Rutland area NAACP. After doing 4 clinics last year and serving almost 200 BIPOC children, I knew there was absolutely a need. Not only living here for the past 8 years, I knew it was a need for somebody to do my hair, but also, you know, all the other kids' hair that's BIPOC in the community as well. I even had to teach myself to cut my boys' hair, and they had a couple of bad haircuts, but I got pretty good at it. So having to teach myself, and it's hard. And having to have these parents learn how to do their children's hair is hard, and not having the resources to do it. We don't have the right combs here, we don't have the right brushes here, we don't have the right oil moisturizers, the grease here, nothing. So I want to provide that space that we can have somewhere to go. Even though, it's one place, but it's something, So that's what I want to create. And I want it to eventually be a community space. I don't want to have someone walk into the door and we say, we don't do your type of hair. I want us to get to the point where anybody walks in that salon and I say, yes, we can do it for every single person in the community. So, of course, I want to focus on the BIPOC community because we absolutely do not have anything here. So we want to get that done. And doing this is, funding it is hard. I have put some of my own money into it. This wasn't a dream of mine. I grew up in Chicago. I didn't say, I want to grow up and own a hair salon in Vermont, So I needed help funding this project. So I applied for this forgivable loan to, move forward with the project. It's going well so far. I have secured a grant. I've had donations. I put my own money in. So this is, it's going forward very well. And I know people probably have passed by the shop, and it's been really hard work doing everything in the shop. But, all the fees and the taxes and all of that come with it, nobody told me this. I would have tried to convince somebody else to do it. But we, this is what it's needed for. Does anyone have any questions?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Alderwoman Taddeo.
I don't have a question, just thank you for working to meet an unmet need in our community.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
So
Alderwoman
move to
Davis.
suspend the rules?
Motion to suspend the rules. Been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And I'll move for the approval of the $10,000 BIAP forgivable loan and a referral to the Heritage Family Credit Union revolving loan fund program for a secured loan.
Second.
We have a motion, a motion to approve the BIAP with the referral. It has been seconded. Any comments, question, or discussion? Alderman Talbot.
I just wanted to thank Barbara for including the whole application along with it. I don't think I've always seen that in the past, but it was really helpful in feeling like I'm casting an informed vote. So thank you.
I gave you as much information as I could. I said everything.
Any other comments, questions?
Because this mess right here, it's gotta be.
We get you some braids in there.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
There's no help, Tom. There's no.
Any other comments, question, or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much for coming in, and good luck. Okay, Barbara, one more for you. We are on to the BIAP request for Down Valley Bikes. This is pages 11 through 23 in your packet.
Thank you. So the RRA recommends approval of a $5,000 BIAP grant and referral to Heritage Family Credit Union for a secured loan to Sam Mills and Paige Prouty to open Down Valley Bikes at 10 Merchants Row. Sam is here tonight, and he can tell you about their plans and answer any questions that the board may have.
Hello. I want to start off just saying thank you for the opportunity for this program. It was really, kind of a lifesaver on trying to get anything started up here. But Paige is at work, but we are moving back into Rutland, and we're hoping to bring some of our passion to mountain biking back into the area. We know that Rutland's had a kind of long-standing support of mountain biking. There's Pine Hill Park, and then just up the road at Killington is a East Coast attraction, and maybe even some of the best in the country. So there's certainly already a pretty large demand for bikes and bike services here, and I think anyone that has one can attest to there's been a pretty long lead time on any of the current shops getting that kind of work done. So we're hoping to come in and kind of offer to bring some of that traffic down from the access road and bring it through downtown Rutland. We're in the process of closing on that building in 10 Merchants Row, hopefully this week even, and we're have a short renovation period and plan to use some of these funds to kind of get our tools, everything of the specialty products that we need to perform some more like basic to even advanced suspension services that no one in the area really offers, and maybe save some locals the cost of shipping out suspension products to manufacturers and keep some of that business local as well. We are hoping that we've been out west and seen where some of these big popular bike shops can be such like a pillar of the community for mountain biking, advocating for rights and expanding some trail access. So we know that we can give a lot of this back into the community, and a few other ways from that. If we can host group rides or do other sorts of events down the road, we can really make the mountain biking in this area even better than it already is.
Great. Awesome. Alderman Talbot.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
We have a motion to suspend the rules. It has been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And motion to approve the $5,000 BIAP grant and referral to the Heritage Family Credit Union Revolving Loan Fund.
Second.
We have a motion that has been seconded to approve the BIAP grant and the referral to the revolving loan fund. Any comments, question, or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much for coming in. Good luck. Okay, moving on to the next item on our agenda. ChiefLovett. This is an MOU between the city and Swiftwater Asset for the state of Vermont USAR team. This is pages 24 through 34 in your packet. Chief.
Hi there. Prior to actually getting into this, I circulated a letter just to notify all of you folks that we will be participating in the Rutland County Alerting System test on May 9th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. Our part of this plan, this is a plan, it's a countywide disaster plan. In this particular case, we've been asked by Green Mountain Power to participate in their disaster drill that would be for the Chittenden Dam location. What would normally happen is we would sound the fire whistle to alert the public that there's some important public service announcement or public emergency announcement, and then we would distribute information through the city's website and other sources just to get the word out. one of the problems in a large-scale disaster is we're going to lose our cell phone coverage rather quickly. And so the second part of this, and is something that the State Emergency Management Coordinator has gotten on board, is geomapping. And so what would happen in a situation if somebody was downtown and there was an emergency that would be specific to the downtown area, we can draw a circle around that location and specifically type in a message that only the people in that area would get. Why that's important is if somebody's cell phone is still working, if they're in a low-lying area, we can give them specific information to where they should evacuate during an emergency. So why we bring it up early is just so we can start the process of letting everybody know why the fire whistle will be blowing during that test. It's a one-time test. Chittenden Dam, they will practice theirs twice a year, but what we're trying to do is see how far the whistle can be heard. There are sirens in the Chittenden River in East Creek Basin, and there are some areas in the downstream side that don't quite hear that siren. So we're going to see if our whistle will fill in those blanks. So.
And you remind the public before May 9th?
Green Mountain Power. Green Mountain Power and the group that's been working on the disaster plan in the area will have a lot of press out before then. So now that I've hogged the television for a minute, the other thing to bring to you is the contract between the City of Rutland, the Fire Department specifically, and the state USAR team. USAR team is a state organization that trains our people in technical rescue from Swiftwater to low and high angle rope rescue, trench, and a bunch of other modalities that were, and quite honestly, would be too expensive for us to be able to afford to train our people. This MOU is an agreement between us and the state of Vermont that in the cases of a flooding event in one part of the state, they could dispatch our folks if we have them available and we have the equipment available to go and help. What this brings to us is it brings us the ability to bill the state and get reimbursed on our payroll. So we had an agreement, and it's just gotten to the point where it needed to be retrofitted and updated. Some of the changes Attorney Bloomer went through and was good enough to create a side letter that's on the front of this MOU, basically explaining some of our concerns. Now, the state is hesitant to change the actual language of the MOU. They acknowledge our concerns, and we have an agreement to deal with those. So tonight I'm coming before the board to ask for permission if I can sign that and extend our agreement with them.
I'll move to suspend the rules.
Second. We have a motion to suspend the rules. Has been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And I just want to clarify, the fire chief will sign the MOU?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So I'll move to approve and authorize the fire chief to sign the MOU that will extend our participation with the state Swiftwater team.
Second.
We have a motion to allow the chief to sign the MOU. It has been seconded. Any comments, question, or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Superintendent Peters, Recreation. This is page 35 in your packet.
So you read the one-page summary of a pilot program starting in the spring with VAC. What kind of brought this on was about a month ago, I received a frantic text from a school teacher that was bringing a group of kids to the VAC for therapeutic needs, and their lifeguard ditched them. So I said, I'll go and do it as being a certified lifeguard. After getting there, talking to Rob and saying, you know, what is going on with the pool? What's going on right now? And at that point, before COVID, swim lessons had stopped due to resources, and they can talk a little bit about that. And so, of course, my brain started to go. And I thought, okay, well, this is maybe something we could provide to the community. What happens to us in the summer when we offer swim lessons, within 2 hours they are filled. Capacity, instructors, time, And then the cycle comes around that we start, then the kids go for a year without, 9 months without swim lessons, come back, and we're starting from square one. So Rob and I started to have conversations, and we came up with a pilot program that could happen in the spring with future opportunities throughout the school year for school groups to utilize, birthday parties, so on and so forth. So I'm going to stop. I just want to introduce the representatives today from the VAC and just a little bit about what their needs are. And then I have just a proposal to talk about. So I'll introduce. Go ahead.
So I'll take over. I don't usually need a mic because I've been told that I'm very loud, but my name is Rosie Piontek. I am the Assistant Executive Director at Vermont Achievement Center. Mark Mossy, our Executive Director, wasn't allowed to be here tonight because he has COVID, but wishes he could. But he's been fairly new with us at Vermont Achievement Center. I've been there probably a little over 20 years. Mark's our new management in the last few years, and really sees the vision of where he wants Vermont Achievement Center to go, including the Mitchell Therapy Pool. How many of you are familiar with the Mitchell Therapy Pool? Probably you've swam there or your kids have swam there, but somebody has been swimming there. As Kim was saying, with COVID, we shut down. Obviously, it wasn't a safe thing to do. Probably within the last year, we've opened up a bit, just a bit. We've wanted to do more, but we haven't been able to get lifeguards. We haven't been able to find the folks that we need to offer swim lessons, open swim, aquasize, all of the things that Rob has taken over and overseen that's happening in the pool. So when the connection was happening with Kim and Rob came all excited to us, this could be a really wonderful thing of what we're able to offer the community. I've answered the phone several times and somebody calls to say, is the pool open? Is there open swim? Are there swim lessons? Will you be doing aquasize? No, I'm sorry, we don't have a lifeguard. So this is something that will offer us both the opportunity to meet the community needs and give them that open swim, that aquasize, that Mitchell Therapy Pool experience. So again, Rob Marsden is the one that runs the pool. We'll be working on some of the contracts. So does anybody have any questions about the pool or anything for me?
Tom?
Great, thank you for letting us be here.
Alderman DePoy does have a question, sorry.
So Kim, will be providing some lifeguards for these
activities? We're going to start small. So this pilot program is to offer swim lessons. We're looking at 8 hours a week. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, let's call it, for 2 hours, and on Saturday. With any program that we do, we have a minimum enrollment in order so we don't lose money. So I don't think this program is going to lose money because we're going to fill up. If we don't fill up, then we don't have the program. So this pilot program is, I believe it's 3 months long. It's about 6 to 8 weeks, depending on when we can get it going. I am looking for financial donors, and we do actually already have some out there and some grants to help support the rental cost. Because this will be the first time that we've had to rent a space. Typically other organizations are renting from us. So I do have a secured donation. It actually came in the mail today from Stewart's, who has given us money before. The amount that we're looking at for the 6 weeks for rental is about $2,500. To pay our lifeguard and instructors, it will come to about $2,500, and then the revenue expected to make is $3,500 to $6,000, depending on enrollment. If we have 6 kids, then that's minimum. If we have 10 kids, then we're in the profit. It's very similar to any program that we do. We just have this additional cost of a rental for this time, and this is also different because we have a contract. So that's why I'm coming to the board. And this last week, we worked on the contract. Matt was able to do some revisions. So today, what the ask, and I'm going to read what Matt sent to me, because the contract's about 99% done. We really want to come together one more time and just clear up a couple items. So the motion is to authorize myself on behalf of the city to enter into the rental agreement with VAC, subject to the city attorney's approval on the final indemnification, insurance, and warranty provisions. Again, this is a 4-month contract. It's a pilot program. During the summer, I would come back, and if we want to expand, that's when we would look at expanding.
Alderman DePoy. And then Alderman Gillum.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
We have a motion to suspend the rules, has been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And I will make a motion, as was just stated by the superintendent, authorizing her to sign the agreement with VAC.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion. It has been seconded. Any comments, question, or discussion? Alderman Gillum.
Are we going to be available for groups,
Groups.
like scouts and folks like that who have to do some swimming?
Yes, so, yes, that's a great opportunity. So the minimal is the 6 hours a week for swim lessons is what I'm looking at. Birthday parties, special requests, for example, the high school or the school district already reached out to see if I would do a lifeguarding class prior to the summer to certify their teachers. So that would be a cost to then cover our cost. It would be a rental agreement, exactly.
This is going to be much cheaper for our folks to drive all the way to Burlington to do all the requirements.
Yes.
So right here in the backyard, I think you're going to have a little group here. We'd love to use that place.
Yeah, I think so too. And as Kim said, this is a pilot project, so we kind of want to test the water, so to speak, just to see how this works, no pun intended, or pun intended. But our hope is that, again, this is going to really offer something for the community that we can grow and expand upon down the road.
Alderman Barbagallo.
Thank you.
Will there be any fees associated with this for the families involved, and will there be scholarship money available for those that cannot afford it?
Yes, I mean, all of our programs have scholarship, and that's where the grants and the financial donations from organization businesses come from. So the reason why I asked for grants, and I'm going after grants, I've emailed the Rotary, I put applications in, Stewart's, there's a Spark grant, is to offset the cost to the consumer. Because all of our programs are typically at our own facilities, so we don't have that additional cost. I will say that VAC has been extremely gracious in the hourly rate that they are providing for us because they want this partnership as much as the community wants it, if that makes sense. So yes, scholarships are always available.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, any other questions? Alderman Gillum.
Just a comment. I mean, this is just another program that we need in the community, so we have swimming year-round. This is an opportunity for our community people to use that, and all these organizations who need to have a place like that to go to.
Agreed.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other comments, question, or discussion?
Things in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. I think you have more to go.
Yes, we have
all
more,
right.
but you don't have to stay. You don't have to.
It's just getting good.
Okay. And thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for helping us.
We appreciate it very much.
I'm going to bring Tyler up. We are working, we have some updates from MainStreet. We paid our first ARPA bill. Some of you have seen it or will see it tonight from Mary, the report that she's running specifically for ARPA is going to be just such a benefit to like Tyler and I to keep track of what money's coming out of there. So we paid our very first bill this week. And so I thought it would be appropriate to have Tyler just do some updates. A lot of meetings, and I don't want to take his thunder, so I'm going to turn it over.
Still not good at this public speaking stuff yet, so. I don't have COVID. Yeah. I just got a cold, and I'm sure you folks don't want a lot of people on the mic here, so. I believe Kim did send out just a brief summary of what's kind of been going on. We've had multiple meetings with Ed, who was departed, I guess. A lot of design, just layout, park design, electrical, mechanical, all the civil engineering stuff has been done. I guess a quick, mental picture of it is the gazebo is obviously going to stay where it is. The sides are going to get chopped down about 2 feet, which will help us to eliminate the railings that go all the way around, which a lot of folks like to hide behind. So that'll open up all the sight lines through the gazebo. There'll be 360 degrees of stairs that go around it, so you'll be able to access the gazebo from all angles. There'll be an ADA compliant ramp that is going to come from the current multi-use path that runs along Route 7. Throughout the path with all of the, all the folks voted on what the layout should be. There's a lot of pathways that are going through this. So for safety purposes, nighttime, we're gonna try to put bollard lights along the path to help illuminate the paths as folks walk through the evening. Those bollard lights will also have power receptacles in it to help with any special events that we have, whether it's art in the park or special vehicles or any great things like that. To the south end of the park, there'll be some additional parking spots added for ADA compliancy and also just 4 regular parking spots. There's not a lot of parking along that edge of the street. We all know that you get around, you kind of get stuck over there and you got to work your way around. Those parking spots will then connect into some new sidewalks, which will connect to the kind of the brain, the hub, the building that's going to be added in the corner. That will have 2 ADA compliant single-use bathrooms, which will be open for special events only. They won't be open all the time. There'll be a nice storage space in there. It'll all be lit up around the outside of it. We've been working with Green Mountain Power, Consolidated Communication, First Light, Comcast, and the very generous folks at the Vermont Country Store who are allowing us we have to shift a pole that is on their front yard currently. So they've given us permission to do that as long as it's real no cost to them. So for them, we're going to have to do a little bit of groundwork, which we can do in-house. We have the capabilities to do that stuff. So they've allowed us to move the pole. Everything's kind of marked out up there. There's a lot of stuff on those poles, and we've got to make sure everybody gets what they need. So Xfinity or Comcast, or sorry, Consolidated Communication, there's some extra poles that are also along the road, which are going to get removed. All of the lines will be pushed up to the new poles. New power service is going to go in. The service is going to be added. The poles that are going in, which will be raised up. Our thought process and planning is to kind of, plan for the future. We know what we need now, but we don't know what we're going to need in 20, 30 years. So let's put in that right infrastructure now so we don't have to go back and re-spend more money later. So we're going to put a decent enough power in there that'll meet all the needs in future. Country Store, Consolidated. Sewer and water is all on the Court Square side, which will be an easy connection for us close by. So power and water is taken care of. And again, all of the park will be set up with communication for Wi-Fi, camera systems, lighting around the gazebo, and there will also be along the Court Square side a new sidewalk that will have 4 receptacles for food trucks. So the hope is for, like, when you got those nice events like the art in the park, a lot of generators running, stuff like that. So these folks will be able to just drive right up, plug in, and away we go. So the hope for us, it's taking a little longer than we wanted to, but we want to make sure we do this right. I mean, this is a big focal point to this city. So the hope is for us to have the RFP ready to go out beginning of March, mid-March, to keep the process moving, to hopefully have bids solidified for maybe a fall start, depending upon how things come in. And that's really about it. So if anybody's got any questions for me.
Any questions for Tyler? Tom's got one. Alderman DePoy.
Hey, Tyler, we had talked briefly about maybe saving the old roof on the gazebo.
We did. I went up in it.
Is that what we're gonna do?
I went up inside of the roof personally. It's amazingly it's in good shape. I think we can save it. All of the columns and a lot of the trim will have to be replaced. It's all rotted out and old at this point, but I think the roof, yeah, it can be saved. It was interesting up there. Found some interesting stuff.
I bet.
A lot of old beer cans up in there, yeah.
Alderman Barbagallo.
Those weren't for me, Tom.
Yeah, right.
You're not the first one that's been up there.
Yeah.
You had mentioned hopefully a fall start. Will that have an impact on art in the park come fall?
I don't believe so. I mean, yeah. I'll let Kim, yeah. The hope is to kind of give them a good time.
Yeah, and they have a backup plan of where they're going to go to the left of in front of the fire station. There is enough room there.
Park?
Yeah. So we do at least have a backup plan.
Okay. Yeah. I just would hate to see them disrupted because of this.
Yeah.
It's a great plan, but I mean.
Sure. Yep. And Sherry's been well aware of this for the last year and a half, and so even when we thought that this was going to start a little bit earlier, we knew that was the place that they were going to move. We've offered other parks, but they really want to stay in that area, so we're just going to shift it over to the left. That's the plan, at least now.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Great. Kim, you want to proceed?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you, Tyler.
I know I've said this before, I mean, and Tom has said this, that when Tyler went as the director and took over for Bob, you know, it was really important that he stayed hands-on, right? And we have shown, like, with all of our facilities and everything we do, the importance of his knowledge and his staff's knowledge, that we don't have to really pay someone to go in and do some of those things. So a lot of credit for Tyler, and I know he loves when I do that, but it just shows. I mean, he talks, like, I go to these meetings, I'm just like blown away. So lastly, two things. About mountain biking. We received, it was perfect timing since we had that tonight. I want to recognize the Aldermen Toyota and Aldermen Chevy for a donation of $20,000 to go specifically to a lending program for youth for mountain biking. We will be having an RFP going out, and hopefully in the next meeting, to buy 10 to 15 mountain bikes that will be used for our two programs, our Mountain Bike Club for Youth and our Gritty Girls program. If this is successful, then we will continue to purchase bikes. We are buying a storage container that's going to go to the left of Giorgetti to keep those safe, and we hope to have that in the spring. So when I asked the aldermen, you know, how do they want, I always ask when we ever get a financial donation, how would you like to be recognized? And they really don't love to be recognized, but they said one of the reasons they do this is they hope that other businesses will see their generosity and also look to see how they can donate to the rec in that way. So I do want to do a special thank to them, and hope to have that program running this in the spring. So then lastly, I did just send an update. Since I was here, I usually update on different things that are going on. I'm not going to go through everything. I will say that our camps, our summer camps, opened up on Wednesday, and we filled 65% of our spots. The White Rocks camp, which holds 75 kids, we took 85 kids, so we have to figure that out, within an hour and a half. So the need for summer camps, we know, is huge, and we're looking forward to offering our swim lessons in the next week for the summer swim team and everything that goes along with that. The rink closes up next week. It's been a very successful year. I'm very happy with where we're at. It's very busy at the rec this week with all of our camps going on because it is break time. On Friday, we end our basketball camp that the high school boys basketball team takes on. And because both teams have done so well, specifically the girls, I'll just point that out, 18-2, the boys and girls Rutland High School teams are going to come and do a practice with the kids on Friday to wrap up their camp this week. We had a Night to Shine event last week, which is a nationwide event. It was one of the first times they were able to hold it in the last 3 years because of COVID. We also hosted our very first Vermont Wrestling Youth Tournament that same weekend. We had a really busy weekend last weekend. We have some upcoming events. La Valley's Business Expo show is coming in the end of March. That's going to be on a Tuesday where they take up the entire gym and the parking lot with contractors, and so we're really excited about that. And the Cedar Business Show, which is April 11th. I'm sure you'll see more information on that. That's it.
Great. Are there any questions for Superintendent Peters before we let her leave? Alderman Gilliam and then Alderman DuPoy.
Are you sleeping?
Not right now.
Next year.
Sorry.
Alderman DuPoy.
Thank you.
So, Kim, there are a lot of you mentioned the mountain bikes and how much you want to really push on that. There are some big events that are going on up in Killington. Mm-hmm. My first cousin is younger, female. She does extreme mountain biking. I mean, you know, the cliffs on both sides, paths and stuff out in Colorado, but she works out here at Killington a lot too. And I would love to see some of them maybe come down and just maybe do exhibitions at Pine Hill. I mean, is that a possibility?
I think they've actually have done that in the past. The Gritty Girls and the mountain bike, the volunteers and some are paid staff are actually regular Killington. So they have done expos down at Pine Hill. We had the big cold roll last weekend. That was at Giorgetti, and that's mountain bike clubs from all over that come to Pine Hill. That's become a very successful event to the point that we have to figure out parking for next year. But that does currently happen, and with having Shelley Lutz, Nate Freund, I mean, it's just, mountain biking is such a unique, like, they are a close connected group. So wherever they can find trails, they're gonna go. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Superintendent Peters. Okay. We are moving on to reports of standing committees, of which we have none.
We have Treasurer Markowski.
Oh, sorry. Thank you very much. Mary, you're up. I was trying to skip you for tonight. Figured you wanted to go home.
Hi, thank you. We don't want to miss the finances of the city while we talk about everything else. So there's a lot of material here. When I send a packet to the board, it's 80 pages long. It's hard to summarize that at this meeting, but I'll do the best that I can. Bank balances, what I provide is a list of, these are all the accounts that we have, the city funds. So right now, in all city funds, there's about 18 million spread over general fund accounts, capital funds, proprietary funds, special purpose funds. So, and when you look at investing public funds, you just want to protect the balance. You want to increase your interest, but really preservation of principle is priority for me. So I've taken the award money from the ARPA award, and that is in a separate account, which I'm able to get a little bit better revenue source from for the city. So just wanted to comment on that. And then delinquencies. Anyone that picks up a copy of the city annual report, there's a focus on how much does everybody make and who's behind in their property taxes and water and sewer. Those balances are high. I can say that they're high, but they're going down. So I really give a lot of credit to my staff for some hard work here in hard times for people, trying to do payment agreements, working on state programs. That I just has been so successful for us. I was in the office yesterday, had a couple of phone calls. People aren't aware sometimes of what's available for resources. So it's, you know, it's a unique opportunity to be able to help people in that way. So when I'm looking at property tax delinquencies, last year at this time, we had 1.1 million. Right this year, same reporting period, 879. So we're making gains. Water and sewer, the same. Accounts over 90 days, 445,000 versus 581 last year. So we're really working on that, but I do want to comment that we're working with DPW on starting water shutoffs. So giving some warning there. We haven't done that in the city. It's got to be 10 years or more. So we just really need to work closely with the other departments and coming up with a list. So you'll be seeing that. So I just want to note that. Some of those balances are high. I've already scheduled a few for a possible tax sale. So then I do want to report, we always focus on that unassigned fund balance when you go to the balance sheet. If you're looking at the balance sheet right now, you see that it's a negative balance. We've done some adjustments when we took that special election for ARPA. We said we still call it ARPA because we all know what it is, but ARPA dollars have been spent because that was the special election. So it really put our fund balance into a negative. So I recomputed that about 2.4 million in the unassigned fund balance. So if we carry that, we control expenses, we should have some dollars to support next year's tax rate when we go to set the tax rate. I'll stay on that ARPA, and what I've provided to the board, and I'll try to get it on the city website because I think it's so important. 4.5 million into the city. Originally, ARPA had some real restrictions. They relaxed those rules, but the board, through the finance committee, really followed projects, tracking. So there's a lengthy list of initiatives that the board has approved. So I have that list. I provided it to the board. I'd love it if anyone sees anything that maybe we missed. There were a lot of things we were doing. But I would like to get on that on the website for the public to see. I also started to, in the general ledger, when you look at expenses, I created some new accounts so we can track those independent of the operational budgets. See what, so 4.5 million, we've spent about actually expensed 376,000, and we still have about 370,000 available. That's not earmarked for a special project. So I wanted to point that out.
I just want to say, and I think the board maybe needs to consider what we wanted, how we want to treat that balance. You know, do we want to kind of bring it back in-house so it's either projects that support tax dollars or supports taxpayer relief? And I think that conversation, at some point, I think we have to have, as far as how do we want to designate, if we get requests, are they appropriate requests to this fund? And if we designate it, then we'll have that answer.
Okay, and I do think that maybe some of those projects that we did, I don't know how much Main Street Park, but some of those things are coming under budget, so maybe there'll be even more as we work down the list. Looking at budget to actual this time of year, 7 months in, the city, you report it every month, but sometimes things are on an annual basis. So it's a little bit skewed when you look at the numbers and you think that at the target level for revenue and expenses about 58%. Non-tax revenue is about 62%. It's higher. It's I looked at RME. RME revenues are up. Rec revenues are up. So those things are coming into that. Expenses are right on target at about 58%. Really important to hold the control expenses. That's what, I mean, it's great to have excess revenue. It helps the taxpayers, it helps us offset, but we have to control the expenses. I also wanted to point out that the RRA, because Ed Clark was here to speak on the RRA. So right now the RRA has a cash balance of $79,000 in a checking account. The RRA carries funds available for a VTrans grant, business development, administrative reserve. That's helping the RRA a little bit with the strategic planning and going forward. So, and we watch that carefully at the RRA level. So, I do want to comment on a couple of things specific to the Treasurer's Office. We have an opening in payroll. Our payroll administrator will be going to work for the school system, so good for the school. She's an awesome employee, and we will miss her. So I will be covering payroll until we get someone there. And also, the FY22 audit, June 30, has not been finalized. I have a conference call tomorrow, so hopefully we'll be moving on that. And that's all I got. Any questions on any of the material?
Any questions for Treasurer Markowski?
Thank you, Mary.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, moving on to reports of standing committees, which we have none. Reports of representatives, which we have none. Okay, seeing none. Reports of select committees, which we have none. Petitions, letters, and miscellaneous communication. We have our SCP request for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation for Rutland's Great Strides, May 20th through 23rd, Pine Hill Park Walk. And this should have been placed on their desk, right? This was not in the packet originally. Alderman Talbot.
Motion to suspend the rules?
Second. The motion to suspend the rules has been seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
And motion to approve the special events permit for Rutland Great Strides for May 20th, 2023 from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Second.
We have a motion has been seconded. Is there any comments, question, or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, moving on to GMP pole and wire request. This has also been placed on your desks.
I'll move to suspend the rules.
Second. We have a motion to suspend the rules. It has been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And I'll move to approve the request of the 7 standard conditions.
Second. We have a motion to approve and it has been seconded. Any comments, question, or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to the Board of Control Commissioners, we have none. Board of Cannabis Commissioners, we have none. Is there any unfinished business to come before the board this evening? Alderwoman Davis.
So I have one, just because we just got through paying water, sewer, and taxes in the same month. So I'm going to bring this up again because I brought it up a couple of years ago and referred to DPW committee, the request of separating the water and sewer bills from the tax bills because it's a big hit to taxpayers to try to swallow that amount of money in 1 month. So at the time, we were going through the process of changing meters and dealing with the companies and who was going to read them and send us our notes and the billing and blah, blah, blah. So it was, please wait until we get it done. Well, we've got it done. So I want to refer this back to DPW. I don't think we need to meet Billy till after Election Day, and I'm not sure who will be chair, but because I think it's a conversation that needs to be had, and there was some discussion at the time that they could bill monthly for water. So, you know, you can get a $25 water bill instead of, you know, 200 and something. And that bill's a lot easier to swallow, so.
We have a motion to refer.
Second.
It's been seconded. Any further comments, question, or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Is there any other unfinished business to come before the board?
Mr. President.
Yeah, Alderman DePoy.
So, and this, I think this question is probably more for Henry, our clerk. There's another cannabis shop that's supposed to be opening on South Main Street, down on the corner of Allen Street. And I was wondering, have we dealt with that in the board yet?
I haven't received official notification. I haven't seen the application yet.
Okay.
So that makes, excuse me, that makes how many in the city?
That would be 3 that I'm counting.
It's true.
I'm kind of wondering why we haven't received anything and this place is like virtually ready to open. It kind of seems like the cart's wagging the dog, the tail's wagging the dog right now. Shouldn't they be coming to us and at least, you know, going through our process before they, you know, completely gut an interior, completely renovate an interior, and get ready to open, and then they're begging us last second to approve a permit or to give our blessing to a permit, and when they're ready to, you know, say on a Monday, and they're ready to open last Friday. It's just, that's why I asked, because I know, I've been by it several times, and I know what's going on down there, so I'm just curious as to why we haven't received anything yet from them.
I know the applicant had contacted me a while back, stating they were in no hurry as far as getting the business open. I thought it was going to actually be later on towards summertime or the end of summer. This is still, within my purview as clerk, is still a new process with the state really driving the bus as far as that goes. I just kind of equate it to, you know, what happens through the DLC process. We're able to make complaints, but it's kind of a ceremonial. You guys approve the business, the liquor license. You know, if there's a problem, we've had says, or we can, you know, do things, but the state pretty much dictates those things. Even with the previous two, it was, you know, kind of after the fact. The state was asking me to approve the application before it actually had come to the board. But I can tell you this, I have not seen it come across my desk or my computer screen, and I've been in that software program every day because of the licensing process. So that's where it would hit, is through the DLC site.
Mr. President, it just seems very interesting. I mean, given that this board could completely change its structural dynamic here, and somebody's going to present something to this board quite possibly as soon as the new board is seated, and if that new board isn't in line with whatever they propose, it could put up a big stink for them. And, you know, maybe the state is the ultimate authority, but it kind of seems like we should be the ultimate authority given that this is our community. And I don't know. I guess I would encourage applicants to come before they start groundbreaking or sledgehammering the interiors of buildings to retrofit them to their needs before and kind of go through our process and get our blessing at that point. And that's not just with a cannabis shop, that's with anybody that needs a permit from this board. You know, there were several people that were here tonight that were seeking permits for a variety of things, you know, whether it be a BIAP loan or whatever, and I've said it for a long time. If you've got money in front of this board or money is riding on something that this board has authority over, you should be here, be present, and probably bring it to us long before you're ready to open last Friday. So, thank you.
Alderman Gillen.
Question for the attorney. When we set up the cannabis ordinances, is there something in there that we can cap the amount of licensees in the city? Is that our authority or is that the state's authority? Someone asked me that
I guess it would be the state's authority. I don't think they've done that or are necessarily thinking of doing that, but we have like very, very limited authority when it comes to the cannabis establishments. I believe it was zoning, signs, and nuisance, and really those three. Yeah, I mean the normal like building permits as well. But really, I think what the state will be looking for us to do is just to say that they're adhering to those, to the ordinances in those three categories. And even though they will come in, or the way we've designed it is they'll come in for a hearing and you'll be able to ask them questions, there won't be a ton of leeway outside of those three categories to, you know, not grant the permit. I mean, it's an opportunity to come in and meet them and hear what they're doing and give them some feedback, but the state has a pretty rigorous licensure. Their piece of it's pretty rigorous, and they've allowed this small piece for the local communities and the $100, I think it's a $100 fee or something that they collect and then remit to the city. But as opposed to what we do for the liquor, it's much more narrow than that process.
So it's something we got to go to the state and get adjustments from them through the legislature, is what you're saying.
If you were hoping to cap the number, for instance, that would be something that would need to be done through the legislature.
My concern here is it's very expensive to open these stores and you're putting a lot of investment in. If we have like 15 of them, that means nobody's making any money, and then we're going to have blight buildings on the tax. That's my concern. These buildings are going to go empty on me if we have too many of them. So I think we need to watch the store, per se, when we go down the road here.
Well, we were promised revenue from them, and they sold it to us.
They sold us a bill of goods.
That went away.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Just
nope. Fine. Any other unfinished business? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Moving on to miscellaneous motions, resolutions, and new business. Is there any new business to come before the board?
Mr. President, I just had a quick thing, and I apologize to the mayor and to yourself. Kind of dropped the baseball, now that it's baseball season on this, but when the mayor was talking about the election, received a bunch of phone calls with people thinking about absentees being automatically sent. So the education piece in regards to the state in the November election, sending things out. So just as I guess a PSA to the voters out there, if you're watching and you do want an absentee ballot, you have to call and request one. Every March election, if you would like a ballot, you have to call and request. The only time that a voter in the city will receive a ballot automatically is for the November election and the November election alone, not even the primary. As far as that goes, you still need to call for that. So I'm hoping there will be some guidance there, but for us, folks that run the local election in March and stuff, there's still a little bit of an education piece out there. And, you know, we try as best we can to make sure that our voters understand that, and that we do our due diligence to make sure that they get an absentee ballot if they so choose to get one. But they just need to be informed that if you would like a ballot, you need to call and request one before we can get it sent out.
Thank you, Clerk Hick.
Thank you for doing that. There was some confusion at the debate the other night on
Yeah,
that. Thank you for clearing that up.
It is very confusing, Alderman Gillum, as far as that goes. I wish there was a better way of handling it.
Is there any other new business to come before the board?
I'll move to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Has been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned. Have a great night.